featuring all the stars of the BMW Sydney Carnival. Today, the Rosehill Guineas featuring Seamus Award and Dissonant is the highlight of 3 big Group 1 races. On April 5, Rosehill Gardens hosts the richest race for 2-year-olds, the Tooheys new Golden Slipper, worth $3.5 million. Then we head to Royal Randwick and 3 weeks of incredible racing featuring the championships. More than $18 million in prize money, including the world's richest sprint race, the Darley TJ Smith Stakes, the world's richest mile, the Star Doncaster, and the world's richest 2,000-metre turf race, the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, worth a staggering $4 million. Money, prestige, and racing royalty. Sydney is set to shine, and it's all live and free on 7 and 7-2.
From horsepower on the track to a different kind of horsepower and a lot of angst, as you can imagine here at the Type 400. So Whincup gets the win, we know that. Lowndes taken out down at turn 6, we know that too. Who was in the right, who was in the wrong? Well, I can tell you that Roland Dane, Jamie Whincup and Craig Lowndes have been the only 3 people inside that transporter. Roland comes out, so that leaves Lowndes and Whincup in there by themselves to chat about it, to talk it through, and to obviously try and get to the bottom of it and solve it. You guys have both been in this situation. You know what it's like. The fact is you've got teammates out there and you're going to race against them, and sometimes you're going to hit them. What do you think was being said in there?
Well, look, there's a couple of things you've got to do with this, Matt. Motor racing is such that when you make a move like that, you live the mistake. Now, whether the move was on or not is not really the case. You get down there, you can't do anything about it. You're in the car, you've made the commitment, and you're down the inside. Now, for me, I think Whincup was in the right. I think he got down there far enough to take track position and to dominate that particular entry. Now, Neil's not necessarily of the same view, but, I mean, he's up there, he's battling to stop. I totally agree with that, and he's got a lot of the inside curb. It's right on the cusp of being a manoeuvre you get away with or not.
I don't have a cut-and-dried view other than you need to look at all the data, and that's what will happen in this investigation. I want to listen to the rear brakes. When you look at it from the outside, Scafie saw the gap and called it and went, yeah, I reckon you might get down there. But when you go on board, you hold your breath a little bit on this one and go, oh, I'm not 100% sure. What I find interesting, because I'm not going to make a judgment call because I don't think we've really got enough information. We need to see all the onboard cameras and look at the data. What I find interesting, though, is that Jamie backed himself. Yep. He went, the move was on. So he's actually flagged to Craig that what Craig needed to do was yield so that he could finish second. I find that dynamic interesting because what he's actually saying there is the move was on, no apology for that. I don't like the outcome, but there's no apology for having made the move. For me, that actually is a little signal of friction there, and so there should be. The two of them are playing for the highest stakes in Australian motorsport, but it's an interesting one, an awkward one, and it'll be on for a long time to come.
Well, what it does, Bud, is it shows the genuine competition. That's David Couchy coming out of the truck. He's obviously looking after Jamie Whincup. Inter-team stuff like that is always difficult, but one of the things, your point, Neil, is a really good one. We see the big smile of Lowndes, but we know how hardcore competitive he is. But so is Whincup. That was a very ruthless and powerful manoeuvre, especially when your teammate is leading the championship.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's put him back to 10th.
Well, let's not forget that they both started on the front row of the grid, so let's go all the way back to the very first lap, and it was a good start by Jamie Whincup. A poor start by Whincup. Lowndes got away from him well, and Russell Ingall was the biggest loser out of that. He started from position number 3. We're on board with Mark Winterbottom behind him as he was just left sort of standing still. They all got through quite cleanly aside from a little bit of push and shove because it's on so quickly at this circuit. It just jumps up and swallows you, doesn't it? Next thing you're down at turn 4 and you're all fighting at the hairpin.
Other thing that happens at this racetrack is you get penalised for corner after corner after corner. If you make one little blue, normally at most racetracks it's kind of over and done with in a corner and you go, damn it, you know, Scafie just got me or whatever. Here what happens is when you give yourself an uppercut or someone gives one to you, it goes on and on and on. It's like the punishment never ends.
Well, it's like a freight train comes by, isn't it? It's not one car, there's 4 or 5. This was a pretty healthy battle in the middle of the field. Van Gisbergen up the inside of Reynolds. He had bodywork damage and the Nissans got caught up there with Jack. And that was the right-hand front damage for Todd Kelly. And how's this moment? Whincup, that is almost in the fence, guys. That is a seriously big mistake. This was a serious thing for young Rick Kelly off the road at 265 kilometres an hour, and we think there was some brake drama there.
So then we get a restart under these rules, and Lowndes played it perfectly. So a little bit of, well, a big question mark, you got to say, against the restart for Garth Tander. But I actually think he tried to sort it out by the time he got to the control line. Then this happens. Whack.
He fed it second gear right at the end, Neil, didn't he? It's a third gear corner, and he fed it second gear right at the end. So that was designed. He knew that it was going to be slower, and Courtney almost got by, Matt. That was a big opportunity for him.
And as you say, it's just punch after punch after punch. He comes back in and tries to make a move. Shane van Gisbergen picked his way through the field beautifully. It made up around 12 or 13 spots to finish just on the fringe of the top 10. And the 9th win for Jamie Whincup at Tasmania, but a bittersweet one. It's the 77th victory of his career. And Craig Lowndes, for the life of me, I'll never understand how he managed to stay on the black stuff at the final turn of the last lap.
That's at about 180 kilometres an hour, Matt. That is right out sideways. At the start of that contact, it would have been on the lock stops. That's full opposite lock at that speed. That is unbelievable car control and a great save. And this is the friction at the end. I'm with you, Neil. When he come and said then at the end, hey, the move was on, it's a pretty powerful statement.
Okay, so what does it do to the championship? Well, 55 points is now the difference, so not really much in the top two, but Courtney steps up into third, and Whincup goes from 7th up to 6th. It's the talking point of pit lane, Larko.
Certainly is, mate. I've got Roland Dane, team principal, down here. Roland, when I walked in here at the end of that race, it was I wouldn't say it was an uncomfortable place to be, but it was awkward. Jamie was clearly disturbed. You've just spent some time with the boys in the truck. Let's just go over it first. The incident. Let me ask about the incident. What's your read on the incident itself?
Look, it was a bit of a 50-50. Jamie was well in there, and Craig closed the door quite late in the day. So hard, you know better than I do. That corner's a hard corner anyway to read, and it's sort of the apex goes away from you a bit, and then suddenly you're in it. And so I can sort of sympathise with both of them. If it had been, you know, I don't know, one car against another, team car, etc., then I think it was, you know, it was a racing incident. I'm just annoyed that it's between our two cars. Make no bones about it. They're not meant to do that, and they won't be doing it again.
So we have talked about that in the past, mate, because you've always said on many occasions, you know, go race hard, don't take each other out. It's just happened. You've been in the truck with them. What do you say to them that you're prepared to share with us?
I don't say very much because I'm not the team principal anymore. Duddo is, in terms of running the race meetings, etc. But maybe he's a bit too soft on them. Maybe I'm a bit of a harder old bastard than he is. But they all have to find their feet without me, you know, without me being there all the time. And so they know what I think. I don't need to speak to them. They know what I think about it, and I'm sure that they'll act accordingly. But I think it was it's a 50-50 racing incident that you shouldn't have between two teammates. But from a racing point of view, you know, that happens.
So communication, I mean, prior to that, I mean, does there need to be an improvement in communication, engineers, drivers between each other?
Yeah, I mean, you know what drivers are like. They're like children, really. If they give them an inch, they'll take a mile, and they probably feel that maybe without me there, they feel they can take a couple of inches instead of one. So maybe they have. I don't know, but I'm sure that Duddo will sort them out.
I have a strong sense that they know you're here today, mate. So thanks for the heads up.
No problem.
I reckon you're exactly right, Larko. So Roland Dane's gone and put his footprint on that. 50-50 call, sure, tick. Racing incident, tick. Teammates hitting each other, nah, doesn't happen again. I think they're well and truly aware of it. And I think the voters are saying that 86% reckon that wasn't within the rules for Jamie Whincup. And the good thing is they get to do it all again. Another 100Ks a bit later on this afternoon. But coming up after this, the Aussie racing cars hit the track here at Tassie.